Hey, being a leader is weird. I think leadership isn't something that's necessarily taught, right? You can never really teach it truly. It's something you have to experience because there's no broad stroke for leadership in my experience. It's really been different depending on the group you're working with. So with Modia and the stuff I do are different than the stuff I do with ASA or student government politics, right? So being a leader is weird. It's it sounds oversimplified, but it's really like you do it, then you're done doing it, then you pass on, and that feels really weird when you actually do the passing on stage because there's so much that goes into it. Then you just pass on that torch. You ship you I don't know how to use the right words. You worked on for a bunch of time, like you invested a bunch into, and you pass on the torch to the next person. But yeah, let me kind of like step back for a minute to explain more. I'll use Mod and ASA for this. So with Mod UN, we were a small group last year and the years before that, like 5 to 6, 7. And then we didn't meet as much. So there wasn't like really much going on with Mod UN, but it was a solid group. It was a great community. It was really fun. There's a lot of passion into it. With ASA, it was a large group, very connected community because ASA is the African State Association. So I seem out of breath. So for both groups, right, for Mod UN, I had to be, for Mod UN, it was a thing that was like you want to build up a community, right? But with ASA, you were just, the community was already built, right? There's already that African community in the school. So you want to nurture that community. And to nurture the community for ASA, you have to be like this social person, which I didn't feel like I was. I'm not antisocial, but I'm not a social butterfly. I think that's the best way to phrase it. So then, I didn't really think I was the best fit for either of the roles. However, I wanted to bring those ideas I had. Like anytime I do something, I always get like, how can I improve it? What's the cool thing I could do with it, right? Or if I watch a show, I'm like, oh, that's a cool thing they did in the show, or a book. And like, let me do that in real life with the group I'm working with. So that's why I took upon those positions. However, it's difficult. I think there's a lot you have to balance with school, personal stuff, then your leadership, leading people. So you can't really afford to slack off because the people who follow you basically reflect your leadership style, right? So if you're taking this thing seriously, then they're more likely to invest into it. Because if you're not investing into it, why should they invest into it? Like think of it like as if you're running a company, right, and you want people to buy stocks or invest in that company, then you have to be willing to invest your time because you can't ask other people to invest in something you don't invest in, right? So I couldn't really afford to be like, okay, I don't have enough time to do this thing now, so I'm just gonna put it off to the side. So I had to put all my time and then make extra time, which did not work out as well as I hoped. It was actually a very messy process, but thank the Lord, I actually got it done. But I got it done, and then you learn new skills. While the community you work with, or the group that follows you, reflects your style, you also reflect them. I think you're not just training, or you're not just as a leader, you're not just giving to the people you work with. You're also gaining from those people, and you gain a lot of stuff from them. So with both groups, I've actually learned a lot. With Mod UN, I think I've become more of a social person. I've learned how to interact and be more, and how to bounce off of people more socially, and how I know how to work with their visions or their goals, right? With ASA, I know how to be more adaptive because with ASA, ASA is the bigger group, so there's a lot more. Anytime you have a big event, there's a lot of issues you have to deal with. So I have to always adapt quickly. So it's like I learned how to work off of people's strengths. Like, okay, if we have something, we have only 5 minutes left, I have to see what's the role that fit everyone best and where can I put each person to do this thing. So maybe I'm not the best at talking, let me assign this person to do that. Maybe I'm not the fastest one, let me assign that person to run down and get this, right? So I've learned a lot. Then now I'm in the stage where I have to pass that on. I think it's weird because like you've done it really, and it's interesting because now you look back and say, did I do it well? And over the past couple of months, what I've been looking at is communities. Like how I look at like stuff like the theater program or the music program, the arts program mainly, or sports programs. And like they have this community they've built, and they have these award shows, they have these things where people are connected and always seeking. And it's like it builds these friendships. So then, was I able to build or improve the community in some way? And I think that's the true measure of if I was successful as a leader for these student clubs. And I think wholeheartedly, I do think I did. With Moduan, we were able to grow from 7 people to around like 26, 30 people. We have about 15, I want to say 15, 16, 15 people average frequently. So those people are really passionate and they've become like friends. And I think my best moment at Modulan was I was really stressed about this college application. Then one of the people were talking to me. I was like, also random conversation. I don't know how it started. And so I was like, yeah, this person joined because she found like she had doubts about joining Modulan, but she found it very very fun after we did the speech thing, like the speech roulette thing, where it's like you get a random speech, you have 1 minute to prepare, stuff like that. And then that's why she joined. I think that's how I know I kind of formed a community, albeit not by myself, with the group of the community I worked with and all those involved. So yeah, I do think I've built the community. With ASA, I think I've nurtured, ASA, I think I've managed to gain people's interest. There was already a solid community there, so I just like, there wasn't much to do. But I think what I've done with ASA is giving it a better platform to walk on, whether it be the social media, making it stronger, or with the roles. So really, I think that's what I'm doing with and these last phases of my leadership is trying to like give the communities I've worked with and built the best platform to walk on and drive. So as I pass on these roles, that's what's really in my mind, because I've done everything I can, and maybe I'll come back in the future to give some advice or connect them with people who can help them. But now I was just saying, what is the best path I can recommend they walk on, and who are the best leaders I can do that? And yeah, and I'm done. It's really exciting. It's not as sad as you think it would be. It's like, okay, I'm done. And it's more logistical, and you just get happy for the people who do get to lead the clubs in their direction. And saying that, I do have to take a step back and say everyone really leads the club in their, no matter what role you have in a group, you're always a leader, right? It's not necessarily the person who's the only leader, it's everyone who's involved, which is one thing I've learned. Funny enough, like for ASA, I only became like the junior representative like near the end of junior year, I think. And just now, just like a regular member who constantly came to the meetings, gave my ideas, said, okay, we should do this, or I can bring this, stuff like that. And that was how there's like, this dude is always here. This made me junior representative on a random day, right? It wasn't even at the end of the year. But I don't know. I think I'm just rambling on at this point. I think all that's really left is just to enjoy the process. I've done what I can. I've lit the torch. I've given it some embers to burn on. And now I just have to pass that torch to people who are next. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's weird, but I guess that's just leadership. Have a great day.